Hey everyone, I wanted to take a few moments to talk about our design thoughts for Kaurath. We want to run a high fantasy game. We want to support a wide variety of players, styles, experience levels, and the like. We've had a long-running story, and as we needed to enter a new chapter, we want to take advantage of those opportunities. So let's look at the four design principles that I called out as important. We have a rich history, a deep backstory from the old world and from the new. Um, and because it's a new world, a new player can join without having to know everything that's ever happened before. You can learn it during the game from people there, and you can come in bringing knowledge of your own that they don't have yet. So that's a fair balance. We want to make sure our old players can continue their long, deep stories if they want, as they want, and add to the richness of the world, but we don't want to overwhelm any of the new players. Um, the change let us update a whole bunch of the fiddly bits based on stuff we've learned in the decade since the old rule set had been built. We built a rule set, we fired it up, we've run a couple of events with it, we may run a couple more, and based on player feedback, we'll be making some adjustments once it's clear what the right direction is to move. Things will change periodically, and we'll give you the option to rebuild characters as needed. Ultimately, the fiddly bits, the mechanics aren't critical. The goal is, are we correctly embodying and empowering you to do the things your character should do to tell the stories we find interesting? And because we picked a high fantasy world, it means that the people who had grown to be strong characters in the old world can remain strong characters. It's not like we had to chop people's power down. Instead, what we're doing is bringing new people up to a higher level. And by the shape of the way the system spreads powers and abilities out, our goal is to arrange so that all players can bring their own unique and special contributions to things. So a new player has their own unique value to bring to a group of old players, or to form a group of new players, or to play as themselves, alone, interacting with people coming and going. That's our goal here. Also, we want to engage people in a positive play experience. We want our players to have agency so that what they do affects the world around them. We also want to allow that living world that they are affecting to react and impact to them back. So we're aiming for a middle ground between those pure consent-based games where there's no negative result unless the player chooses for it to happen, and the world of pure simulation, war game LARPing, where people's personal limits, their triggers, their style of role-playing aren't an issue. It's just a war. Put up, shut up, or die horribly. Have as good or a bad a time as you personally can. We're going somewhere in the middle. Following that path can be a little hard. It takes more work, but I think the result is worth it. Um, the key phrase, I think, is that triumphs won against actual adversity are sweeter for that reason, and better stories are created when you're facing an in-game enemy, one who is actively striving for their victory to defeat you, but who also wants to create a consistent, interesting story along with you. So being in character, making it a good story are both important features. We need to blend those together. There'll be wibbles, there always will be, given that tension, but as long as we maintain good intentions and communicate well, we should be able to get there. Everybody's in-game goals are different, and they may change for you over time. We want to be able to offer all of our players the style of play they want, even as that style develops over time. Thanks. This was Stephen Tiort speaking for the Kaurath team about some of our goals. Right.